today we are welcoming you to our story, the first part of Ranrike. And all the way through the story we are going to have our notes with us. It's a lot of time periods to remember.
This was a real challenge for our brains.
Yes, this time we are presenting two museums. Of course we are keeping it all just to the top of the time period we get to this time. And we are actually starting in the Stone Age. We are going to show the landscape around the areas, the groups that were moving into Sweden, how they were living.
Yeah, what they were eating.
Yes, and how they were painting.
Yeah.
And coloring the landscape around them. We are also showing one boat from this time of period. And, well, of course, we have found out who was Svear and who was Götar. And all in the name of Ranrike.
Yeah, where it all started.
Yes. So let's travel back a long time, 15,000 years ago. So Sweden didn't look like this between 1500 years ago when the mammoths were walking on the ice on top of it all. We had a long ice age in Sweden, and it's first when the primary ice were moving that we people started to move into Sweden. And I'm going to show you a map because the first one is really interesting, as you can see. The 11,000 years ago, the ice were covering almost all of Sweden, and you see all the small dots. That is landscape, and all the white one is the ice. And if you look at the next one, it's just 1,000 years later, and we see a lot of space in between the Swedish landscape and the ice. And all of this is just the mountains and water. But we follow this map all the way through. And the first trees were had in Sweden. I don't remember the name in English, so I'm writing it in English, but it's björk. And the first animals, of course, in Sweden was the moose and the old ox. And in this area it's grown up with the wolves. As the landscape changed, many years later, it opened up in the year 9,500 years ago. You can see on the map it's all dots almost everywhere. It's just on top of the Sweden that we have the primary frost still being. But as you can see on the map, it's all landscape all the way through Denmark, Norway, and all the way into England. And this is almost the way it looks like 1,000 years later in this map, where you can see Sweden's biggest lake. And when these last pictures are, then we are having a lot of the wild boars, and we have deers and everything in the forest. But if we look at the first one, we are talking about Ranrike. And as you can see on the first map, the beginning of it all, it's building up in Ranrike. And the second one, it's a little bit bigger. And the third one, it's a big landscape. And on this one, you can understand the traveling between Denmark and Sweden was not that far, and not to any of the countries over the seas actually. You can almost walk over to it. As the landscape were growing, so does the people. They were living around 9 till 7,000 years ago, they were living in small groups like 20, 25 people, and they had one clan they were living in, and they were around 500 people. So they were moving around a lot in the forest and on the mountains, hunting areas for the seasons, and then for ceremonies they gathered around the long big fire and had rituals and marriage, everything we can think about. And also burying people. That's also one thing you can think about, that we burned bones and then we had it in ceramic and traveled around with it and put it inside a hell coffin. Just think about it. If you put it in a ceramic box, then you can travel with it all the way until you're at that burial place. Remember, the ice were until the middle of the big lakes in Sweden. And I'm going to show you a new map now. And as you see, you can see all the lower of Sweden. And this is all the graves in the areas. As you see, the small parts are 1 to 4 and so on. It's bigger and bigger how amount of bodies this is. And this is an old paper, but it's still really useful today, because that happened something many thousands of years ago. When the ice disappeared, there was another people coming here, and at the same time there were coming new people, it started to grow less trees and more wheat. And well, they believe it's because they were traveling here with a lot of animals that needed food and big areas to eat and grow in. And some of these areas are in between the big lakes and a little bit up in the north that you see this circle here. And this is called boskaps.
Cattle?
And this is called the cattle age. This is two different groups. The cattle people were living further in Sweden at the landscape, and the other one, the sea people, were living at the coast in the areas of Ranrike, and they were also living in Skåne, and it was an own group on Gotland. In between these lakes they have made many foundings of graves, of course, but they have not found any settlements at all. It's just a lot of craftsman stuff, like axes and everything you can have just to fix for the day, but nothing for settlements. One big settlement they have found, or it's not a settlement, it's a ceremony ritual place in Mosse, and it's 1,000 square meters big, and they believe it was a lot of rooms, and they have found pieces both from the people living on the landscape and the one who was living at the lake, and they are thinking like this: how can I build all of this without the knowledge of the sea people? So they were mixing themselves at rituals, but not genetic at all. They were living separate lives, and they were trading a lot with each other, and it would be like that for over many thousands of years before they started to mix with each other. They had almost the same thinking about the gods, but not quite alike.
To understand how we looked like in the ancient times, approximately 10,000 years ago, we are showing here Österrödskvinnan. She was found in Lysekil around 1903. The farmer, he was a bit scared of that and dug her back. An archaeologist got hearsay about this in 1927, but he started digging a first in 1933. The remains went to Gothenburg Archaeological Museum, and in 1949 it was sent to Lund for examinations. She was there forgot and stored all the way to 2007, where they actually started rediscovered her in the analyzing. They came to with DNA analysis that she was about she lived for approximately 10,000 years ago. She was a quite tall woman, 170 centimeters, and died around 70 years old, quite old, especially during these times. The DNA shows that she had dark hair, dark eyes, and light skin. She was from the Stone Age hunting area. She did eat both food from longer in the country, deeper inside the country, and also seafoods. So, what was she then? Traveler? Tradeswoman? Or did they have different settlements to move around from during different autumn, summer, winter, and so on?
The caves that we call in Sweden Gånggrit has been found in many areas. We started with these graves many of thousands of years ago, and the progress of it all was that we buried new people all the time in them. Some are bigger ones, some are smaller ones. And of course I have a map on this one too. As you can see on this map, we have a lot of this one in the middle area between Vänern and Vättern. And that's quite funny in one way, because we didn't have this before the farmers came to Sweden. As we can see, either we think about it like this. This was Götarna in the middle of Sweden, and at the side they'll play some stuff or learn someone else about this gånggritter and how we could place the graves. Otherwise we have just hills for the Bronze and Iron Age people. But as we can see here, it's also the bigger point that we have, the more amount of people is lying there. And this is also something that reflects back on Götar and Svear. And as you see, the line is with Ranrike. The graves then developed later on into hellkoften. We use them a lot too. And they have done from 2400 before Christ. They started moving towards this one. And we also have a lot of döse, as we say in Sweden. It's a lot of mud on top of the wood. Everything we could find, sticks, stones, everything. And we put on top all of these people inside it for new ones too. And then sometimes it was a coffin in the beginning, and sometimes it's just a lot of people. But it's different findings from different times of period, all the way through. One place that is to mention about is Skåne, that area with graves. They have found cannibalism. Well, they think it's cannibalism of it in the rituals in their burial sites. But enough about that. That's just too bad and not fun to talk about at all. So I want to talk about some findings instead. A lot of these places has ceramic, and we have had it for many generations. And it's a lot of amber, and it's pearls, and it's knives, arrows, axes, well, a lot of stuff. and of course razor blades too. We don't really know that much about it, but sometimes in the gånggrifterna it's just a chamber at the end, and then they are filled up with a lot of stuff before it, like almost like a ritual sacrificing before that. And in the generation graves in between on this map, between Vänern and Vättern, they believe it's around 12,000 people buried there, but they don't know for how many generations they done it. Just it's a lot of people.
First dog was found in Almare around. The findings says it's around from 7,300 before Christ. It is the oldest findings of a dog in Sweden, and it even had a proper burial that shows the important meaning this kind of pets had to our society back then. It was a Spitz-like breed, and yeah, quite. It looks a lot like one of the species we still use today. Quite this Bredgårdsmannen is a very old finding. The DNA examination shows that he was from around 9,500 years old. When he died, he was almost 60 years old and 175 centimeters long. And he was both tall and muscular, so it's believed that he was some kind of hunter, or maybe even a warrior. They have also recreated the face, so he had blue eyes, light skin, and light colored hair. It's one of the more complete findings from this area. As we are walking here through the Stone Age, we have a lot of interesting findings. As you can see, also we have used bones and already from a very long time ago. The reindeer is an ancient animal from around 8,000–9,000 before Christ. Here we have some interesting findings from our areas. Among the what do you say, stone findings. This one is particularly interesting, how they believed a spear could look like, with the small flints inserted. There are also here we find a passage grave. They were buried sitting, swept in an animal skin, both pearls from animal teeth and amber.
Raspberry woman, she was found in a ditch, or in a moss as we say. She had her last meal was raspberry, and they think she was sacrificed. She had her feet back tied and her hands too, and she is around 5,700 years old. And they also found in the area where she was found the small piece of, oh, what's the name? Snails in the ground. and they are beautiful. She was 19 years old, so she was not that old, but still, it's a proof we sacrificed people a long time before the Vikings.
Yes, she was also very short for her age, only 145 centimeters long.
Yeah, that's true. But she was cute.
Yeah.
Yes. This is how it could look like in... Oh, what's the name, Lars, in English?
Gallery graves.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We have a lot of those, and I found a lot of pearls and ceramics in these ones. And they were around, I think, the year 3000, 4000 years old. A lot of them are.
Yeah.
From this gallery, but they started doing them a lot earlier. As you see, a lot of ceramics and other stuff. It's a lot they have found around the coffins. But I know there's a lot of amber in these ones too.
Here you also have the first gold. So there you have both gold and bronze spirals.
Yes. And then we have something we just need to show you.
Yeah.
A wild boar
Yeah.
bone.
Yeah, both bone from wild boar with a hole in it. So might this have been a necklace or something?
Yeah, or something to fix something with.
Yeah, might also have been a tool.
Yeah.
And what's magnificent here is also the flute from 2300 to 1800 before Christ. This is made of a sheep bone. Or they also used some wax to make the sound be fluty. Also the Nordic's oldest flute found. So it's approximately 4,000 years old. We also have some other bronze findings. Did you know that the shaving knife is one of the actually most common findings from the Bronze Age? So we don't know how close did they shave, and they didn't use foam as we do today, of course. But let's imagine what they could have used instead. Some sorts of oils, perhaps. So we have in the middle here a small shaving knife. You also have a plucker. And this seems to be some kind of... yeah, what do you say, Christina?
Clothing needle.
Clothing needle, yes. A nice neck piece here. Instead of a necklace, you have a kind of a neck shield.
Yeah.
And while we are at it, just look at this. You have spearheads, you have fragments from bronze plates, you have small axe heads, a tube with horse heads around it. You also have, of course, lots of neck rings and arm rings. More axe heads and a very fascinating bag of bronze, especially used by the women during the Bronze Age. Another spearhead, but the most fascinating piece, I think, is the clothing, the Jerumsmantel. It's Sweden's oldest clothing. It was found in 1920. This is dated from early Iron Age, between 360 to 100 before our time measurement. The moss have colored it brown. It didn't have this color from the start. It was a pattern in white and brown. Yeah.
It was found on the 3 stones
Yeah.
that they also have on the museum. And to show everyone how it was found, it was like this, just underneath the 3 stones.
That's true. And a quite marvelous horn from the Bronze Age.
Yes, that we find in a lot of the museums around the Bronze Age.
Some really fascinating foundings. This is a ringgold. They used pieces of this one as payment during the Iron Age. We can't see when it's from, but we know that it was used during the Iron Age. Here we have some fascinating stuff. We have the neck
Gold.
piece, gold rings, neck gold rings.
Yes.
Of course, it's a copy.
Yes, but the little man up here is really popular in the Viking area right now.
Yeah.
And they say it's a human figure in this note, and I believe in some other story and storage they are going to say it's Thor. Yes?
Here we also have Ollebergskragen. This one is truly fascinating. If you see the small heads between everything, it's over 100 small gold heads in between everything. And it has 3 rings bound together. So, yeah, it had a lot more heads originally, but they have fallen off.
And a bucket.
Yeah. This is a silver
Bucket.
silver findings. We have a woman and her dog here. Old findings in a moss.
She was 20 years old, 153 centimeters, and it's dated around 400 before Christ.
Yeah, the dog was a Spitz and around 50 to 55 centimeters tall. This founding, yeah?
Yeah, needle.
Needle, it misses the needle and the 3rd arm. It's found somewhere between, it is somewhere between 100 and 300 after our time count. It's found in Tanum.
Yes.
To show you how big of an area this is, the passage graves, look at this map, all the red dots are where they have found the passage graves. Where the cross is here, they have found the raspberry woman, and the area here are a place they lived. So here they have made a little model of how their landscape and where their living spaces were. So this is a truly fascinating and big area.
Yes, and the houses they are a bit far away.
Yeah.
They were living in the houses we have been and watched at on the former villages
Yeah.
before. But this is just one of the areas we are in.
Of course.
Yes, so it's so many.
And you also have the Diabase mountains and yeah, a truly
And
old.
the lake that everyone's visiting every year because of all the birds.
Yeah, this particular lake is also famous and widely known for its wide range of different bird species.
Yes. Really interesting. We made a lot of our clothing from a lot of herbs out in the forest, and the leather from other animals, of course. So it's not that far-fetched about berserkare and wolfhednar when we were living just like that some generation, thousands of years ago. The hjort, the deer springs boat, in Swedish hjortspringsbåten, is from 400 before Christ, and it's in Denmark. It has been found together with 64 shields, spears and swords, a horse, a lamb, a cow and a little dog. And it's one of the first findings from this time in Sweden. The other one is in England, and it's from 1500 years before Christ, and it's called a Dover boat. I'm not going into that so much because it's not quite our story today. So then, what did they eat for food? Well, they were hunting, so they eat a lot of birds and bird eggs too. And they were hunting as deer and reindeer and wild boar and beaver, and they fished a lot. And then in the forest they had a lot of herbs that we also have in Sweden today, and a lot of berries that we also see today, but we have stopped using them because we are a little bit hoo-hoo and are going to buy everything in the store. Yes, so I'm going to make a list, and of course we had honey, and it's the same in the Bronze Age. Well, this is a little bit more than that. It's 7,000 years ago, and it's still the same food we were eating at the Viking Age too. And they were traveling a lot, like the Viking Age too. The sea people, they went overseas and got a lot of good stuff. They bring it back to the farmer gave them milk and everything. It's just so good, and just exactly like the Viking Age, like Svear and Götar did for many generations. And it's weird that everything at the Viking Age started with that we have a battle in England. Well, it's not a battle, it's the Vikings sneaking up. The Viking name is mentioned so long before that time of period too.
Many of our old petroglyphs shows very cartoon-like stories of how the life was back there, also how they see the gods back in that time. So petroglyphs from Ranrike shows quite a lot about our Aesir gods, or at least the start of what become the Aesir beliefs. For instance, we have in Brasta outside Lysekil a petroglyph that shows the story when Thor goes out to fish the Midgard serpent. Thor and Midgard serpent was ancient enemies, so to say. He disguised himself as a kid, followed a fisherman out to the deep sea and started fishing for Midgard serpent. When the Midgard serpent finally took the bait, he transformed back to Thor and fought very long and hard until the line finally snapped and the Midgard serpent, yeah, he made it. Thor didn't fish up Midgard serpent at that time. Another with Thor in it is the bridal pair in Vitlycke, one of the most famous petroglyphs in Vitlycke. It shows the marriage of Balder and Nanna. Thor is the god with the big axe, also larger painted than the other ones, how he marries them. Later in the below though, there you have how Balder was killed by the mistletoe, and how Nanna goes in great sorrow because of that. So that also tells the story about how Balder was killed and by the mistletoe arrow and all that. In Torp outside Strömstad, we have close to where the Norwegian border are now. So it's a bit north in Ranrike. There you have petroglyphs that shows how Sleipner was born.
There is this story written about Asagården, these walls behind me. And it's a story where they come a big man to Asa, God, and talk to the gods. He wanted to build the wall around Asagård, and he met Odin and spoke with him, and he wanted a prize for it. He wanted Freya to become his wife, and he wanted the sun and moon too. And he was going to build all of this in 3 winters. And the Asa gods, well, they were thinking, they were gathering around and talking about, they wanted a wall. It was really necessary for the giants too and the Vanners. And then they decided to talk to Loki about it. And Loki, well, he said, well, tell the giant to, well, he didn't know he was a giant, but he told them that they should make him do it on 1 winter instead of 3. So maybe he didn't get done with all of the walls and he didn't get the prize tag. And they talked to this man, and the man said, well, okay, but then I want to have my stallion. I want to bring my stallion with me on this event and making the walls so he can help me. And the gods were thinking, well, we have to ask Loki again. And Loki said, no, that's not a good idea. But the gods, well, they wanted the wall more, and they were thinking, well, maybe Loki's wrong. So they said, okay, we agree. You build this on 3 winters and you get Freya, the sun and the moon. And he was like, yes. And in the night, he took a stallion and a wagon, and he was bringing all of these stone blocks with him to build this wall. And it went so fast that the gods were getting nervous. 3 days before the summer should start, they went to Loki and said, you have to help us. We can't marry away Freya. And Freya, she was crying. She didn't want to marry this guy. And she didn't want to live with him either. And Loki said, well, okay, I'll help you. Then. Well, he didn't just agree with it, because the gods said it will be torture and he will be dead and he will live in hell. And so it wasn't like he made it out of nowhere just helping the gods. So then he decided to transform himself to this wonderful horse. And in the morning, when the giant started working, he came with his stallion. Loki come running around, galloping around this horse, and the stallion he just lost it and went away with Loki out in the forest, and the giant, he ran after them, but he wasn't fast enough. And he got mad, really mad, and got back to the wall and realized, I can't make it. I can't build this wall on 3 days without my stallion. So he went in a rage, and he started to scream, and then the gods realized that he was a giant. And the giant wasn't afraid of building Asagård's walls, because Thor wasn't at home. He was out hunting trolls and helping the humans. And the funny thing is, Loki come home after one night with his stallion, and something had happened. So he is the mother of Sleipner, Odin's goddess horse with 8 legs, and Sleipner was amazing. He could travel through all of the worlds, the 9 worlds, with any problem at all. So that's why Odin also can travel faster and around the world everywhere. It's because of Sleipner. Had to call home Thor. So Thor, he went home to Asgard and realized there was a giant. So he took his Mjolnir and smashed the head, and the giant fell down, and all of his skull went all through the ground. In the area you see is the ground where they think is the leftovers of the giant. The giants were afraid of Thor. They didn't want to be in Asgard when Thor was at home, but otherwise they didn't think it was that terribly wrong. Here behind me we have the sleipnir, the evidence that you can get the description of in Edda. The giants, big mountain cloth to build the walls. And it's close, it's 500 meters or 700 meters from the giant skull. And the lake of Thor isn't far away from here either. We are not going to show you that one, we are showing it on a map. But it's a lake, and it's Thor's lake just because the Asa gods were protected by Thor and the giants. So there's why they are saying it's Thor's lake.
Of course, the petroglyphs can be interpreted in many different ways. The fossum hell, as we are going to show here on some pictures, are interpreted in a quite spectacular way in the 2013. The ships on the bottom half sails from the right to the left, the upper half the other way. It's a cycle, so to say, where it goes over the sky by night or follows below the underworld by night. Of course, they traveled above the sky by day, not night. Many Indo-European mythologies, the sun's course through the day, it also continues the cycles of death and rebirth. With this in mind, the left part seems to show how the sun's birth in the morning and the sun's death in the evening. A central motive in this petroglyphs shows a circle with beams or branches all the way, so it's that can tell how this particular petroglyph is about the sun. A motive that also shows twice on this petroglyphs is one of a dog-like creature. It shows that it might be killed by a spear or captured by a rope. In the European mythologies, a wolf or dog guards the entrance to the underworld, and this will in this case be linked to when they are traveling through the underworld by night. So, does that say the creature need to be killed or captured for the sun to be rebirthed, maybe? From the Eddas, Odin and his brothers Vili and Ve create the world by killing the giant, Ymer. This saga seems to be unchanged, so to say, from this petroglyph to the Eddas. the dogs can also remind us about Fenrisulven, but in that case the story has changed quite a bit, or at least a little bit. The petroglyphs, of course, can be interpreted in many different ways. Therefore, if we look at this on the same place here as the wedding between Balder and Nanna, we also have a picture of Audhymla and Ymer from their, what was their name, saga again?
Gudrunskapet.
Gudrunskapet. So we have in the Tanum World Heritage Area over 600 sites and more than 10,000 different pictures. That's an incredible amount of carvings. So it's not strange to see that people travel from all the world to this area just to have a look at this magnificent documents in time, so to say.
So today we are at one of the highest, biggest,
Grey mounds?
yes,
Yeah.
in the Nordic countries.
It's about 80 meters wide, and was it 13 meters high? In this area they have found 13 grave mounds. Most of them have been flattened out by the farmers.
Yes, and some they have found stones and they made, where they put their food and everything, food sources of, and after that they have found skeleton of horses and ceramic stuff. So it has been a lot of graves in this area.
Also, one of the previously existing grave mounds, they have found traces of a ship. They haven't found the actual ship, but traces of it.
Yes, and it's this one.
Yeah.
Yes. And this one, they have found a lot of artifacts, but all of them have been lost with the time. Unfortunately, many of them. And it's a lot about this area where they have hills and then they have a hole in the middle. And that's because they have plundered for treasures.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's both good and bad with history here.
Yeah.
Yes.
This particular area was it around year 0? They started this remote,
Yes.
I believe.
And before that, they moved here 1800 before.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes. So they have lived here for many, many generations, and they built all of these hills on top of it. They built a long house, a really big long house. It was ship form too, and it was 60 meters and how long was it? 50 in weight, I think it was. But
Yes.
it's one of the biggest one in the Nordic countries. And in Lofoten, they have made a replica out of this for them.
Yep.
And they found 4 more houses. They were not small, they were big ones. They were 30 meters in length. And so it was a big area, and they believe it was a ritual area too. And they have found, oh, the sun is shining so much in my eyes. That's the wrong place. But the most important thing about the graves is that they were putting, they shifted the power of the people here 3 times because they have put on top of the graves and new graves
Yeah.
for the one who is ruling on top of the hills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, now we are at the magnificent Hundfeltet. The graves here are started at around 500 BC, and still used all until Viking Age. This particular field is placed in three sections because of the time areas they were used. Totally you have around 143 different grave remindings here. It's also, there's a lot of grave piles, the grave stones, stone circles, a very historical place. And this shows how long there actually have been humans living and residing in this area. So, for starters, the younger Bronze Age, and all the way to the Viking Age. Quite fabulous how long they have been here. Yep. A fun fact here, in the old days people still believed in giants, all that stuff, so they believed that bones like this was from giants. Actually it's from a blue whale, so not a giant. Imagine a 33 meter long giant. No. And the world's first human, 10,000 years old. He was approximately 40 years old when he died, and he died of caries in his teeth. He was found around Hornborgasjön by the Väner. That time it was a ocean bay, so to say.
And here we have the bronze shields.
Yeah, the magnificent finding from around 700 to 500 before Christ.
Yes.
Early Bronze Age? Late Bronze Age, what do you say? Yeah.
In the time of the Beowulf story,
Yeah.
so to say. And it's some findings, they are all different, all of the shields. There are 17 of them in total. Some are still in fragments and some are almost like big shields. And one of them has ducks on it.
Yeah.
They had a duck culture.
Yeah, and most of them have circles, very popular for our culture,
Yes.
where we celebrated the sun among other things.
Yeah, and the god Ull, Wool in English.
Yeah.
Yes, he's always a circle. We are going to tell you why. But it's the circle around circle and circle, and you can think about life in general, the circles. Some believes this were for an offering, but they were found up on a hill.
Yes.
No, they were found
At the bottom of the hill?
Yes, at the bottom of the hill, and it's a big graveyard, and in this graveyard they have an offering moss. But they didn't use it.
No.
No, so maybe someone dropped it in the end of the beach, because it was beach those days.
These shields are also too thin to be shields you used in war. So they seem to be some sort of ceremonial shields.
Yes.
They are only 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters thick and around 60 centimeters in diameter.
Yeah, and it's really small for a shield.
Yeah.
And the metal is also what they believe from Austria. No.
Yeah, they believe it
Yes.
might be from Austria.
Yes, they haven't concluded that testing yet, but for the shields it could be a ritual too, and they also talk a lot about this shiny golden stuff in Odin's
Temple.
Yes. So we don't know where they come from. We just know that some put them there, or maybe it was just one horse traveling, a boat traveling that went out of sea. We don't know.
It could be anything.
Yeah, but it's a treasure.
Yeah, it's a magnificent treasure.
Yes.
And yeah, this is 1/3 of the world's entire findings.
Yes.
Think about that. In this small area, 4 by 4 square meters, they found 1/3 of all the bronze shields that have actually been found in the entire world.
And one more interesting fact is it's in between Kinnekulle and Hallonflickan.
Yep.
And in the middle of it, they built a castle many years later. And that's interesting too.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And here is a lot of foundings from the area too, and it's a lot of swords and axes and spears, buckles, it's necklaces.
Isn't this one also a similar founding in Vitlycke?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. And it's a beautiful piece.
Absolutely magnificent. And here you also have shaving knives.
Yeah, there it is. A lot of shaving knives.
4 of them.
Yes, and one with a horse head too.
Yeah.
So already then we put animals on top of it all. When the goats came to Sweden in the Stone Age, they could make a lot better clothing instead of the only stuff in herbs and skin. As you see, this is from the year 500, so it's a little bit later, but still you see a lot of keys, and you can compare it to the Viking keys that are a lot more detailed.
Yeah. Also you have smaller knives and the what you I don't remember the name, but the one stones you sharpen them on.
Yeah.
And from a fireplace, different types of stones and steel to make the fire.
And some ceramic with bones.
Yeah. They also have had pots. This one looks a lot like the Ölands kruka, Ölands pot. If it was made for a male, they had a golden ring around it. If it was made for women, it was golden pearls in it.
Yeah.
This is how they grind the corn to make flour.
Or wheat, because they had wheat too.
Yeah, but they made flour this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And different bones, and it's sort of food waste. What they another fantastic finding is this woman. She was around 50 years old. This one is around 1,800 old. She was also said to be from the upper class, and you can see the pearls around her neck there, hair needle, and yeah, different jewelry she was buried with. We used cremation as a burial ritual. It could be up to 800 degrees in the cremations. We used pots like this, roots, to bury our ancestors. In almost every place you found burned bones. magnificent findings. Both hair needles, it seems to be coins, jewelry, bone jewels. Yeah, a really lot of very delicate handwork. No machines back then making our precious items. So the handwork from painting all this little stuff on the pearls or engraving like on the snake head here, it's truly magnificent. And they need to have a really good sight, I think. Ull, one of the oldest and most worshipped of gods, and was almost forgotten when the Viking Age came. Or was he? Listen, in Sweden they swore an oath by Ull's ring. It's told that the Sami, even in the early 1900s, could throw 2 brass rings into a well on New Year's Day in a ritual who had traces all the back to Ull's time. Who was Ull then? That depends on who's the teller, but we know that he was a sun god. He was also a god for order and honor. He was a skiing god, an archer. And on early petroglyphs, it starts with just a circle, and then the circle becomes more like a shield, and so the shield grows limbs and also a bow. He has similarities to a lot of other gods. One with Ra, and he was out in a boat, ambushed by the Midgard serpent. He had to flee his ship, swims to another ship, and escapes. A funny mention in this one is the story about Olav the Holy at the battle by some Svolder. He is about to be defeated in his Ormen Lange. He jumps the ships, swims to his other ship, Ormen Korte, Ormen the Short. Just for a comparison with how these stories have lived on a long time, and maybe it wasn't forgotten during the Viking Age. On some of the petroglyphs with Ull, his shield has the same pattern as the sun shield in Trundholmsvägen, an old ancient findings. Also, Svipdag is tight connected to Ull, and actually they might be the same but in different names. Svipdag means sudden day. This Svipdag, he also tricks Freya's hand. He defeats Frey in a sea battle. Just for some shortenings of tales. Ull, a god who was worshipped in the majority of areas in Sweden. also up in Norway. In Sweden we have at least 22 places named something with ull, and many lakes. In Norway there are also several names of places with the ull, and a few in Denmark, just a few. God, Tyr, he was also some sort of a main god in the beginning. Tyr was more common in Denmark, Skåne, some in Sweden, mostly old sacred places, lakes. In Norway it's similar to Sweden for the worshipping of Tyr. Tyr had, during the mythologies, some of his abilities transferred to more modern Odin and Thor. It's a bit of a shame that we have, not a shame perhaps, but it's strange to think about that in the Eddas, where all the gods have their places to live, Tyr isn't mentioned. He doesn't have a home, so to say. Could that mean that he is all around all the time?
Or the same god as Ull?
Yeah, it could also be the same god as Ull, but with different names.
And then also it's the difference between Ull and Tyr is Svear believed in Ull and the farmer believed in Tyr.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we are at the end of this part 1. Part 2 is coming up in April, I think it is. And then we are continuing our traveling.
Yeah, we are
Forward.
traveling a lot, both in time and on the road.
Yes, not on horseback though. But one thing we can say about this, it's that many times when we do this stuff, it's more proof around the areas than what people believe. We hear a lot in Sweden, we don't have historical items, we don't have any proof of the stories or that people have been living here. And we find so much that we can't bring it all in just one video.
It has to be some videos.
Yes, and of course the center was Tanum Sede, the doom ring. The biggest thing was in Tanum, they say in Ranrike, in the middle of Ranrike. But for us, we are not there yet.
It will come.
Yes.
Bear with us, because the more we dug in this, the deeper we got, and the more things we found, and suddenly we were not in the Viking Age, we were in the Stone Age, where it all started.
Yes.
So this will be...
Yes.
Yeah.
And the next time we are going to end up in an area called Munkedal
yeah.
with King Rane
Oh yeah.
and Queen Hud.
Why is it named Munkedal? Monk's Valley?
Well, they built a
sense.
church. No. But we are going to bring that up the next time.
Yeah.
And of course, it's older name on Munkedal, as you all know that are living in Munkedal.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't called that back then. It's a modern name.
Yes, it was Svarteborg in the year 400.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's just because it's an area with a fortress. And there are a lot of fortresses. Just in one community there can be around 17 about them.
Yeah.
So it's so many, and in Gothenburg there are 3 in a circle and everything.
Yeah.
So we have to bring it all up, but just piece by piece.
Yeah.
So you really follow the actual story about Ranrike, Svear and Götar. So next time, oh my gosh, it will be Beowulf.
Beowulf.
Yes.
Magnificent.
Yes. And then the foundings around it too.
Yeah, this is going to be so much fun.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed this one, because we certainly did. And we are going to enjoy the next one even more.
Yes, and don't forget, questions are allowed. Ask them. There are not stupid questions. Just ask them. We will answer the one we can, and otherwise we will say we will figure it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.